All right, so we're here at the altar of La Santa Muerte. And so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna ask one of the last remaining siete cabronas to teach us a little bit about the faith and about the altar behind us. In the heart of Mexico City exists a neighborhood, though surrounded by luxury, tourism, and corporate buildings, is completely excluded from that ecosystem. A neighborhood whose mere utterance strikes fear, not only in tourists, but also in many locals. A place where the laws of the land don't apply in their totality, a place considered to be the most dangerous neighborhood in the nation. I speak of none other than El Barrio Bravo, Tepito. When I arrived, I quickly learned of Tepito's reputation and couldn't help but wonder what life was like here. How did it earn its reputation? Why were so many people so terrified to visit, despite it being less than 3 miles from some of the richest and most historic neighborhoods in the city? To help me answer these questions, I contacted local guides who preferred to stay off camera and took me around Tepito to learn about its culture, to speak with locals, to visit an altar that's significance to the community is paramount, and to get a glimpse of what it is to be a Tepiteño. What's up, y'all? We are here in the infamous Tepito. And real quick, before we dive in, I just wanted to let y'all know I did not come here alone today. That would not be a good idea. I'm accompanied by my guides. They're here to make sure that nothing happens. They're also from here. Again, I did not come here alone. Here you can find literally anything. You can find anything from replicas. So this place is very famous for making replica shoes, clothing, bags, as well as tools, furniture, drugs, arms, even, so get this, even you can find exotic animals. Yes, that is right. I said exotic animals. To get to our first stop, my guides took me through the markets where one could find a myriad of goods, from replica brand-named items to everyday items and even previously used goods, arriving eventually at a famed soccer stadium tucked away in Tepito's epicenter where local teams play. Okay, so we are here in the heart and soul of Tepito. We're here at Maracana, which is the most famous soccer field in all of the barrio. This place was developed as a project to help young people escape drug addiction, to avoid the streets, to stay in sports, to have something positive in their life, to not fall down the wrong path. One other cool fact about Maracana is that not only was it inaugurated by Mexico's national team, but it was also inaugurated by Pele's Brazilian national team, which, I don't know if you follow soccer, it's a pretty big deal. And to have something like that happen really speaks to the importance of this place, as well as what it means to this community. Y entonces en los 70s eran cuando pusieron como este campo.
Ajá, fue cuando se inauguró, de hecho te digo que el boxeador el Ratón Macías, era como que más, se resaltó más a la fama. De hecho él vive, te digo que sobre estas calles. De hecho por eso lo hicieron aquí, porque es donde, en el entorno que él vivía. ¿Sí? Pues había apoyo, ¿no?, de la persona esta para el barrio, ¿no? O sea, que es lo que más hizo querer a los niños, a la misma gente, adentrarlos más al deporte, ¿no? Alejarlos de los vicios o de hacer cosas malas, ¿sí me entiendes? Alejar a los niños de tanto cosas que vivimos aquí en el barrio, ¿no? Pues igual se conoce, ¿no?, cómo es el barrio de Tepito. Pues la iglesia, hacen su fiesta del santo de la iglesia y aquí luego hacen los eventos. Aquí de hecho vienen youtubers.
Oh, ¿en serio?
A grabar. Sí, hacen un torneo de fútbol. Es parte de la fiesta de la iglesia, ¿sí me entiendes? Porque hacen traen luchadores de la lucha libre.
¿Lo hacen como literal aquí?
No, eso ya lo hacen en la puerta de afuera, pero aquí en el campo hacen más así como de... O sea, aquí vienen más así a reunirse los artistas, así como te digo, youtubers, así. Vienen así como a hacer la entrevista a la misma gente del barrio. Y cuando llega el día de la fiesta de la iglesia, ya es la final.
¿Y han salido como jugadores profesionales?
Sí, ha habido de fútbol como el Cuauhtémoc Blanco, no sé si has escuchado hablar. Sí. De hecho, él también vivía, bueno, yo que sepa, por los conocimientos que tengo, también salió de aquí del barrio.
Entonces, para los que no sepan quién es Cuauhtémoc Blanco, ¿quién es?
Es un jugador de fútbol, de hecho, jugó también en la selección mexicana, jugó más en el equipo del América.
Ok.
¿Sí me entiendes? El que es más, el equipo más famoso de aquí de la ciudad, ¿no?
Oh, wow.
Sí, ahora sí que sí ha significado mucho para todos, ¿no? Así que por las generaciones, como te digo, conforme van creciendo las generaciones, pues van... El Maracana, vamos a jugar al Maracana. Más que nada representa al barrio, te digo algo, ¿por qué? Porque no sé si has visto las letras, debe de estar aquí, debe estar pintado ahí en las letras. Es como algo que, como un símbolo que tiene el barrio, ¿no? El Deportivo Maracana.
Dirías que este es el corazón
del
barrio Tepito.
De hecho, aquí donde estamos es el mero corazón del barrio de Tepito. Estamos en el mero corazón.
For our next stop, my guides took me to meet one of the last remaining representatives of the community, a legend and member of Las Siete Cabronas, which we'll summarize in just a sec, who interestingly enough also runs the altar of La Santa Muerte, La Señora Enriqueta. The women featured on this mural are Las Siete Cabronas de Tepito, or in English, the 7 badasses from Tepito. Basically, these are 7 women who were originally from Tepito, and they're immortalized on this wall for their contributions to the community, for their work ethic, for their entrepreneurial spirit. A lot of these women have businesses here in Tepito, and for raising their families. In the Latino culture, the mother is the heart of the family. She's everything. Raising a family here is really important. What the saying Las Siete Cabronas de Tepito is meant to represent is that within every woman, there exists a badass. These were women who suffered abuse, domestic violence, verbal abuse, and who over time became part of a project which was to combat that and uplift not only the generation that existed, but also all future girls, women, so that they wouldn't suffer the same as these women. All right, so we're here at the altar of La Santa Muerte. And so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna ask one of the last remaining Siete Cabronas to teach us a little bit about the faith and about the altar behind us. All right, and so we're here in the altar of the Santa Muerte. Here we have one of the Siete Cabronas, la señora Doña Enriqueta. ¿Y usted puso este altar para toda la colonia?
No. El altar va a cumplir 22 años, pero yo no pensé que fuéramos tantos devotos. Yo lo puse para mí, pero al tiempo fui viendo que somos miles y miles de devotos de la Santa Muerte.
Cuéntanos más, ¿cómo es posible que usted es una leyenda inmortalizada en el mural en la pared y a la vez alguien que cree en la Santa Muerte?
Bueno, lo primero que yo te diría es que vivimos en un país libre y cada quien puede hablar lo que quiera.
Buenas tardes.
Y para mí te voy a decir una cosa. Respecto a mí, yo soy devota de la muerte hace 59 años. Entonces esto no es novedad que te diga, ay, no mi niña. Tengo años de ser devota de la Santa Muerte. Yo a la muerte la conocí por una tía. Me gustó. Y después de eso, pues, a mí no me atrae nada. Sencillamente me gusta.
Entonces, hablábamos sobre eso antes un poco.
Que esto es malo.
Sí,
que soy satánica.
Sí,
que adoro al diablo.
sí, que piensan,
que
se
soy
piensan.
La bruja,
Sí.
Que soy la pinche vieja. Sí, bueno, es bonito. Es que muchas veces decimos, es que yo hablo con la Santa Muerte. Es que yo tengo un don. No es cierto. No. Yo no puedo decir, ni tengo don, ni hablo con la muerte, ni la veo. Yo lo que tengo es fe.
¿Qué le atrae a la gente aquí?
Las necesidades. Aquí y allá y en la parte que tú me pongas hasta el fin del mundo son las necesidades, tanto morales, físicas, económicamente. Eso es lo que hace que la gente venga a pedirle. ¿Qué es? Pues un hijo en la cárcel, una hija con SIDA, un hijo con cáncer o hija, trabajo, tener para darles de comer a nuestros hijos, tener para pagar una renta. Esos son los favores que le pedimos.
¿Cómo funciona el proceso? Las personas vienen aquí y le ofrecen algo a la muerte con la esperanza que su favor va a ser cumplido.
Tú no le puedes ofrecer nada a la muerte porque tu vida ya le pertenece. Aquí la cosa es que le pidas y no le prometas nada. Que le pidas que te ayude, que te dé trabajo, que cure a la gente, pero sin prometer nada. Con un chocolate, con una manzana, con eso te voy a dar yo las gracias. Sin compromiso.
Las velas, hay 3 significados hay 4 para cada color.
Mira, cuando tú tienes fe, pero un chingo de fe, muchas veces tienes un problema X. Ay, ¿qué voy a hacer? Cierras tus ojos. Es, ay, Santísima Muerte, ayúdame, madrecita, guau. Y te ayuda. Y no aprendiste veladora. Pudo más tu fe, tu fuerza, tu inteligencia, que todo te sale bien. Cada quien es dueño de su futuro.
El Día de los Muertos, sí, hay muchas personas que vienen para rezar y está llenísimo.
Miles de gente vienen a rezar, a pedir un favor, a dar gracias.
Y vienen desde
Toluca,
todo el
Puebla,
mundo.
Oaxaca, Morelia, y ya hablando para allá, pues vienen de China, de Dinamarca, de Francia, de París. O sea, la muerte recibe a todos.
¿La muerte es independiente o alguien la mande para nosotros?
Bueno, yo, en mi modo de pensar mío, yo pienso que cada uno de nosotros, el día que nos muéramos, ¿qué crees? Dios es el que la va a mandar por nosotros.
For our final stop, my guides took me to a nearby area completely covered in murals, one of which, protected by a fence and religious altar, particularly caught my attention, el Mural de los Ausentes. Earlier, I was talking with a few members of the community, kind of trying to understand more about how this altar came to be. There's a mural behind the altar that we'll get into in a sec, and really just the history around it. So they were telling me that the reason why there's a fence here, the reason why this altar was built, was because originally people had thrown trash and just kind of disrespected the mural generally. So members of the community decided to build this fence, and so they started with that, and they slowly expanded to build this altar. And so they started with La Virgen Maria, or the Virgin Mary. Slowly over the years, they built and built and built. Again, really this was more meant to protect the mural behind it, to put something beautiful in the community, something that, you know, incentivizes people to treat this area with respect. Okay, so the mural I just mentioned, this is it right behind me. El Mural de los Ausentes, or in English, the mural of the missing. There's a variety of people mixed on there. You have people who were criminals, who died maybe having committed a crime. You also have normal everyday people who just died of natural causes. And there's also people on there who are currently incarcerated. Another interesting thing that came up while we were talking was the names on this cross. So these names are the names of the people pictured on the mural that we just saw. And the interesting thing is nobody here uses their real name, they only use street names. So that's all the people listed up here. This was meant to be able to identify those people, pay tribute to those people, just like the mural. This is another part of that. Another interesting thing that came up in our talk was that there's a thing here called the peregrinación. And so what is that? So that's a religious voyage. It starts here in Tepito, and about 200 people, more or less, will walk around 88 kilometers or 45 miles all the way to the state of Toluca. And so the place specifically is called Chalma. The purpose of this is to go and ask for a favor. And so it could be a favor of any type. So people make the voyage. And just to give you guys kind of more of a sense of like how extensive this journey is, it takes about 3.5 days to walk from here in Tepito all the way to Chalma. Another interesting thing that they told me was that sometimes people who had made the journey previously and the ones who feel that their prayer was answered, some of them come back the following year just to give thanks. I mean, imagine that, right? A 3.5 day voyage. I mean, that is dedication. That concludes our adventure for today. I want to thank y'all for having accompanied me to the depths of Tepito. As we can see, Tepito, it's neither good nor bad. It's not black and white, it's very complex. There's parts beautiful, there's parts that aren't so beautiful. There's a lot to digest. In one day, we could never really truly understand what it means to live here. It would be impossible to explore and really get to know the community and really understand it inside and out. As we can see, there's all types of people here, despite the stigma that it's a dangerous place, that it's nothing but criminals and drug dealers and things like that. Again, there's the beautiful side, there's the hardworking people, there's the people trying, supporting each other as a beautiful community here. And there exists a lot. With that said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. And if you want to see me make any more videos here in Mexico or really anywhere, let me know down in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. With that said, until the next adventure, signing out, peace.